has started recording.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. So, there you go. Meron ng confirmation. So, kahit na nagkaklase kasi ako, hindi ko ginagawa ito, yung nagre-record. Just screen sharing lang, ano.
Buti nga sabi ni Sir
So,
Kevin, pwede sa UPOU na ano
hindi
eh.
ko rin alam yun.
Ako din, mayaman ng UP, sir.
Right.
Ayun. Can you guys see it? Yes,
Yep.
yes. Okay. So, parang nagka-classroom lang talaga ako, no. So, ito yung ano, before I proceed, meron tayong mga expectations na sasabihin sana. Okay, basahin po natin. Maiksi lang, ako lang naman. So, itong
Recitation.
yes, yes. Hindi. Walang recitation, ako lang ito. So, the first one is the videos and slides you will see are prepared by other people. Okay, hindi ako yung gumawa nito kasi not enough time. And then I will share my paper, yung nakita nyo kanina. I will also ask you to share yours about interlanguage. Kahit pa paano na-share na natin sa isa't isa kanina. And then we will also bounce ideas of each other because maybe the one I wrote here, my conclusions are different from yours. So please share it. Nawala, ano yun? So, interlanguage and fossilization in whatever. Okay, so interlanguage. So interlanguage means between. So marami namang word na gumagamit ng international, intermarriage, whatever. So meron tayong L1 which is our native tongue, mother tongue, and then L2 or TL, our target language, introduced by Larry Selinker 1972. Yung gumawa ng slide na to Japanese, so nakalagay dito sa ilalim Japanese. Mamaya, meron tayong video na gumagamit silang metaphor to explain interlanguage. So maya-maya na po yun. So next is contrastive analysis. So hindi tayo magtatagal dito. Hypothesis neto, L2 learners will find those and only those difficult. Okay, ang maaalala mo lang yung mga mahihirap tapos ano mo na, parang ayaw mo na iiwasan mo. Those elements which are similar to the learner's native language will be simple for him, and those elements that are different will be difficult. Okay, so 1957 pa. So bakit ko sinabi na hindi tayo magtatagal dito? Because contrastive analysis is wrong. Bakit? Sa baba, L2 learners create this. L2 acquisition is a creative process. So, walang nationality, walang edad. Whoever is the learner is creating interlanguage. So, contrastive analysis is no longer proven. So, next is developmental errors. So, sabi ni Ma'am Maria, nahuhuli niya yung sarili niya na yung pagkakasabi, mali or whatever. Kasi meron po tayong developmental errors. Even though we are professionals, in my point of view, okay, I am still developing. Because may mga napapanood ako, may mga nababasa ko, and there's still one or two words that I don't understand. So, for example, he doesn't knows my name. We didn't went there. He put the cookie there. So, yung mga errors na to, maaring nagawa ninyo or nagawa ng ibang tao. But one thing is, yung mga nag-aaral ng second language, nagkakaroon ng developmental errors. So, there is no exception. Learners produce far more developmental errors than transfer errors. Okay. So, mas malalim na yata yun. So, bakit natin pinag-aaralan yung interlanguage? Kasi we need to know the nature of interlanguage and language acquisition for us to know how it works from the point of view of our learners. Kasi yun po yung 201. So, it's not how we teach, it's how we understand the language acquisition. So L2 is a creative process. A learner at a particular point in time is in fact using a language or system which is neither L1 nor L2. To understand the process of L2 acquisition properly, we have to study interlanguage in its own right. Okay, so not in interference with L1 and the TL. So, meron siyang specific. Hindi ko alam kung meron tayong ganito pag nag-PhD tayo. I'm not sure. Sa English or sa Japan, I don't know sa ibang bansa. Pero yung pag-aaral ng interlanguage, it's a specific study compared dun sa target language. Second, the last bullet point, the study of L2 acquisition is almost equal to the study of interlanguage. I don't know if di ko alam na ganun siya kagrabe, ano. So almost equal to. So most of us took what more than 10 years, 20 years studying English to reach this point of our profession. Okay. So we have a question, does interlanguage reach the target language if we keep living in a country where it is spoken? So here meron tayong illustration from yung yellow, yung interlanguage malapit sa L1 and papunta siya sa target language or L2. Sa tingin ninyo po, anong sagot dito? Kasi in my point of view, it's a yes. So what about you guys?
May answer po.
Yes.
Answer ko po is no.
Mhm.
Kasi I've been here in Indonesia for 6 years and um, wala ko masyadong interactions with locals. Tapos, so all of my friends are Filipinos. Tapos, yung mga students ko and clients, lahat sila English speaking. So, wala ko masyadong opportunity to use bahasa, the language here.
Mhm.
So, yun. So, hanggang ngayon, nasa interlanguage pa rin
Interesting, no?
years.
Parehas
I
tayo,
think the
parehas.
same here. It's the same here, Micah. You know, I've also been here for 6 years already. So my students would always say, teacher, why don't you study Vietnamese? Why don't you learn Vietnamese? I tried because I'm really very into like studying language, acquiring language, but it's really hard. I've tried to learn Spanish and Italian, and the grammar is very actually grammar itself is similar to English, but they just have their gender, their gender based language. But then it's easy because we can call it cognates and false friends. They are mostly the same, the root words, but in their language, especially the grammar technicalities of the language is very difficult. So even the pronunciation is very difficult because they have one word, different accents with different meanings. So it's like that. So that's the reason why I cannot really digest how they speak that. But maybe we will go back to what's the theory na usage based theory, that was usage based theory, diba? We can go back to that. I also honed my English skills when I was started teaching Korean, and also when I was in the call center, because English is you will always use English maybe like 8 to 10 hours a day, or maybe it's up to how long you work, diba, in a day. So that's the reason why maybe we come to this point already that now we can converse, we can call it competitive English speakers already because of the exposure, diba?
Mhm.
So I think yun yung same kay Micah, kay teacher Micah. Yun.
Siguro it would depend on how we view the level of language acquisition. So anong native-like acquisition ba yung pinag-uusapan natin, or just
Let's say, ma'am,
Target language.
kunwari lang pinapunta, taga saan po yung nyo, magulang ninyo?
Bulacan?
Yung isa, Pampanga ba yun?
Pampanga,
Or-
yes, Pampanga.
Okay, kunwari nasa Pampanga po kayo, so Kapampangan yung salita. What if dun kayo titira? Do you think na you can acquire the language?
I think it's very possible as long as you are using the language and interacting with the locals regularly. Very, very possible. But I was just talking to my sister. She is now based in the US, and she can speak English, but what she's finding difficult is the adapting to their idioms. So they have certain idioms that she cannot really understand. Like she used to work in a store. I forgot the name, and then they would entertain phone calls, and a customer would ask her, "Can you give me the ballpark figure?" And she said,
Aha,
and she
estimate.
said, "Oh, she said she was not familiar with that idiom, so she couldn't answer the customer who was asking. So she what she did was to ask another coworker to talk to that customer. So yeah, that you can up to a certain extent, but there are there might be some areas pa rin that you will still struggle. She has been living there for mga 6 years na din, but still marami pa rin siyang mga ganun na difficulties with the language, also with the way they speak. She would ask them to repeat what they were saying because
Masyadong mabilis.
oo, it depends pa rin kung saang region nakatira eh. So even katulad din dito sa Pilipinas, kahit Tagalog, when you say Tagalog, those who are living in a different I am from Balagtas, and when you say you are from Malolos, they have a different accent when they speak Tagalog. I can understand them, but they have a different way of saying things. So the same with her. But going back to your question, I think it's very possible as long as you have that daily interaction with the locals. You use the language.
Daily interaction, you use the language. Okay. Sir Kevin.
For me, sir, kay it's not enough na you live in a country. You have, as what Ma'am Maria said, na you have to really interact with the people are using the target language. Kay it's not possible. Let's say for example, we're a group of kanang second language learners, and then we're trying to learn. Let's say for example, we're trying to learn Indonesian, and then tayo-tayo lang as a group. 'Di ba? So the only people that we're interacting, just like what Ma'am Maika said, is that tayo-tayo lang. 'Di ba? So we cannot interact with others who are speaking the target language. So that's what we call that's the opposite. I read something while reading 201. I'd like to share it. Schumann's acculturation model of
Acculturation. Mukhang bago yun
nasa
Acculturation
nasa
model.
201 po.
Ganun
Kasi
ba?
yung binigay ni Ma'am, sino yung 201 natin, I forgot.
Chu.
Kasi si Ma'am Chu, hindi niya diniscuss talaga yung 201 kasi yung kang Ma'am Chu maraming readings, 'di ba?
Correct.
Pero sa 201 na what they call this, na summarize lahat. So it's a new information also for me. Nga kahit graduate na ako, ngayon ako nakabasa ng 201. So, yun, yung Schumann's acculturation model, sinabi niya na may different factors and different factors to learn a language, and including that factor is the social factor. And one sub-factor of it is the integration strategy. So we have the assimilation. That means you are adapting to the culture of the target language.
Assimilation. I forgot that.
And then preservation, that means that's the exact opposite of assimilation. You are very hesitant to learn the target language because of the factors, just like what Mamaika said, na we're just a group of second language learners, and then we're just talking to each other. We're not going out. We're not speaking to the speakers of our target language. And then there's also three, which is uh, the compromise between assimilation and preservation, which is the acculturation. But according to Schumann, the best way to learn a language is through assimilation. That means tayo as second language learners, we have to adapt to the target language. But then, if you talk about politics of language learning, di ba?
Iba na naman. Yeah.
Iba na naman. So,
Correct.
it's a really complicated
Yeah.
thing. So, to answer your question again, sir, it's really It's really when you speak to to the speakers of the target language, when you assimilate or at least
When
acculturate
you
with them.
assimilate, acculturate.
Mm.
Acculturation. I don't know if acculturate is a word. I
Yeah.
just made it up.
Oo nga, no?
But so
Yeah, a verb.
if you acculturate, if you know, find a compromise between your between you as a second language learner and the target language. So yeah, I
Wow.
think that's the answer.
Mm.
Okay, okay.
Interesting, no?
Very, ang
Oo.
daming
Ang daming,
information nun, no?
oo nga,
Parang
grabe.
nadaanan ko yan eh, ang assimilation at saka
Thank you, Sir
acculturation.
Kevin. Oo.
Thank you for that.
I think no,
Maganda.
may add-on lang ako sir ha, based lang sa sa mga na-discuss or na-share nila. Siguro it is possible talaga to find to learn that target language if you find it a necessity, then you really can learn it. If
Mm.
it's a
Yes.
necessity, but if it's really not, you wouldn't really like learn why should I like for Micah, she's
That's my
been
reason.
yeah, so that's why if it's a necessity, we could really learn it. But if we don't really like need it, why? Why? So that's the key term for L to learn.
Correct. I would like to add in case what you have just said. It depends on the position, the what we ascribe to that language, yung power ng language sa society natin. Kasi, syempre, when it comes to English, pag-aaralan natin kasi it's the language of business.
Hmm.
Oo, so yung prestige na ina-assign din natin doon sa language, that might be one motivating factor. Yun nga, unlike siguro Indonesian and Vietnamese and Thai, hindi siya ganun. So pangit man sabihin, pero that's the politics of language eh.
Hmm.
The power, the language of
That's-
power is English. So talagang lahat tayo inaaral natin
Mm.
'yan. O kasi alam natin yung importance ng language na yun.
Hmm. Ano ko naman, salamat sa mga naano nyo. Parang naano ko. Anyway, yun nga yung usage ng language, yung pangangailangan kung gagamitin ko ba or hindi. So, maliban dun sa pag sa sariling experience na lang. So, dagdag ko sa mga sa inyo. Yung sa nanay ko kasi Ilocano siya. So, nagpunta siya sa Maynila, wala siyang alam na Tagalog. So, English siya ng English. So, that's how I absorbed her skills in English. And then, nagtagal siya sa Maynila, doon na siya tumanda, doon na siya nag-retire. So, nagtatagalog na siya ngayon. So, dahil nga yung nakapaligid, puro mga nagtatagalog, malayo kami sa, nung panahon na yun, hindi pa big city, yung Quezon City, ano lang siya, simple lang.
Mhm.
So, ayun nga, yung usage, yung pangangailangan kung bakit pag-aaralan. Tapos yung isa, yung assimilation at saka acculturation. Oh, wow. Parang ako yung natututo, baliktad eh. Okay, thank you. So, tuloy na po natin. Ito yung kasunod. So, parang hagdanan, does our interlanguage reach the target language if we keep living in a country where it is spoken na-share na po natin sa isa't isa. Parang hagdanan na unti-unting umaakyat, palapit ng palapit dun sa target language or sa L2. Pero ang tanong dyan, yung bang yellow na yan at saka yung purple, will they intersect? Will they reach each other na pantay na? Sa tingin nyo, na can we consider ourselves experts or native speakers of English? What do you think? In yourself, sa katansya nyo sa sarili niyo. In my point of view, nasabihan ako ng isang Amerikano, you sound like a Mexican immigrant. Well, gee, thanks. Parang insulto pero salamat, naiintindihan mo ako. So, what about you guys? Kasi no matter what I do, kahit yung sulat ko, kahit yung score ko mataas, I still sound Pinoy. Even sa writing ko, there are nuances, may mga small things that give away that I'm not a native speaker. So what about you guys? Mag-intersect ba yung yung interlanguage at saka yung L2?
Well, I was just reading about, kasi I'm taking a course on social linguistics, and the term native speaker is quite problematic kasi
Yeah.
now we have the concept of world Englishes, and Philippine English is one of the accepted world Englishes. So, yun, tama yung sinasabi mo. Kasi when you say native speaker, it's parang already privileging one kind of English over another. So,
Yeah.
quite problematic yun yung para mo masasabi na para ka ng native speaker. Kasi we, as second language speakers of English, I think we will never get to that point na kung ang standard natin is American English or British English. So that will be quite difficult unless you were born there or you immigrated there at an early age. Pero kung inaral mo yung second language mo dito sa Pilipinas, syempre yung mismong pagtuturo sa'yo will not be the same as having been born there and having been taught by a native English speaker. So, yun, medyo problematic yung word na native English speaker.
Native English speaker. Ano nga, mabanggit ko lang, ewan ko kung same sa Vietnam or sa Indonesia or wherever you guys are now. Parang napapansin ko, pag sinabing native speaker from Australia, from Canada, from the US, yung mga binabanggit na bansa, yun yung mga bansa na puti. Mga puti yung skin. Tapos, yun yung mga bansa na dating kasama sa British Empire. Diba? So parang ganun. So pagkasama sa empire ay native speaker. Paano yan? Kasama yung Pilipinas doon, di ba? O di paano kung taga Hawaii ka o US pa rin 'yon? O ano ba yung may maliit na bansa na na protectorate ng US? Are they
Guam.
also Guam. So are they native speaker also? Kasi English din yung nila yung batas nila English din. Pero hindi sinasama yung nila, yung nationality nila sa native speaker. So anyway, ganun nga. Hindi siya...
Can I answer from
Yes.
Maria? Nagmag-second emotion lang ako sa sinabi ni Maria na na yung sa world Englishes ba? Kasi I'm into that kasi it's been very problematic nga even here in Vietnam kasi only few proponents are having the accepted the world Englishes. Even the academe, it's not really accepted kasi they are not educated. Hindi pa sila educated sa ganun ba. So yung mga language learner lang talaga yung yung nakakaintindi ng world Englishes. So sa world Englishes kasi dalawa yung tawag nito category. First is the generative native English speakers, which you sir said na yung mga white people nga, yung white countries, Western countries rather, so those the generative English native speakers, and the other Englishes like Singapore, Philippines, India, and maybe Guam, and all those countries na ang mode of ang mode of like directions nila yung sa policies nila is English. Yun din yung accepted din yun sila as world English native speakers, but it's functional English native speakers. So we have to kung susundin natin yung world Englishes, we have two different kinds of native speaker, the generative English native speakers and the functional native English speakers, which is the functional English native speakers, they are not accepted in the world kasi nga hindi pa yun na-educate yung people for that. So yun lang yung ma-add ko dyan sa na yan.
Kawawa naman tayo.
Thank you. Na kasi pag dito may mga job
Correct.
opening, sasabihin native speaker. May sasabihin talaga yung ayoko nang banggitin pero need not apply. Filipino need not apply. Parang ayos So
Correct.
ayun.
So, ganun pala talaga.
Okay, balik na tayo dito. Medyo siguro familiar kayo with this one. Have you heard of Philippinism?
No.
Ayan, kita ba? Malaki ba? Ayan. So, Philippinism refers to the practice of contextualizing thoughts, ideas, and life experiences in a Filipino idea or ideal. These are words or phrases that are usually grammatically incorrect or are almost always results of transliteration. So, medyo kasi hindi ko alam kung yung Philippinism ko ay pareha sa Philippinism ninyo kasi magkakaiba tayo ng lugar. So what I will show is yung sikat. Nasaan na ba yung sikat na yon? Nawala. Ano ba yan? Ay, nako. Patay tayo dyan. Ayun. Ito na lang ano.
Si ano, yes,
Yes.
Mikey Bustos.
Si Mikey Bustos. So magpapatawa lang tayo ng konti. Commercial. Ano ba yan? Meron ba kayong naririnig?
Wala.
Wala po, sir.
Ay, wala. Teka lang Okay, so ihiwalay natin siya. Di-disconnect ko muna.
Okay.
At isi-share natin yung tab si Mikey Bustos. Okay.
What's going on, Becky Mon? This is your Pinoy boy, Mikey Bustos again, bringing you another tutorial. This time about Pinoy English. The Philippines is considered the second best English-speaking country in Asia, next to India. That is why there are a lot of successful Pinoys in North America and other English-speaking countries. We can even adapt other accents.
Wow.
But it must be noted that the Pinoy way of speaking English is a little bit different from the standard North American way. Of course, we have our own way of conveying our thoughts when speaking English. There are certain Pinoy English expressions that are actually direct translations of their Tagalog counterparts. For example, when a Pinoy says, "I'll go ahead," the typical North American might say something like, "Huh? You'll go ahead where?" Actually, "I'll go ahead" is the Pinoy way of saying, "Excuse me, I have to go." It comes from the Tagalog expression, "Mauna na ako, mauna na ako, I'll go ahead." Then there's the expression, "For a while." You answer the phone, "Hello," and the person who is calling you is looking for your mother. So you say, "For a while." Huh? For a while what? Every North American will not understand this. For a while is simply a translation of the Filipino expression, "Sandali, sandali." For a while, sandali. Here's another one. When you're going to your friend's house to pick up something, you say, "Okay, I'll pass by your house tonight." If the person you're talking to is a Westerner, he'll most likely say, "You'll pass by? Aren't you gonna stop?" That's just the Pinoy way of saying, "I'll drop by." It's the translation of the Tagalog, "Dadaan ako." Dadaan ako, I'll pass by. Dadaan ako, I'll pass by. There are many more examples of Pinoy English. We say things like, "Open and close the light." Close, open, close, open. Your shirt is stuck out. And in extreme cases, wow, so blurred. That's just the way Pinoy speak English. I wanted to pass by to fetch you, but EDSA was so much traffic, so I texted you for a while lang. Say what? If you don't understand, it means you're not Pinoy. The important thing is that we Pinoys understand each other. That's why when Pinoys get together, we talk in our own way and share stories. This is what we call kwentuhan. And as we all know, kwentuhan is not complete without good food to share. And for me,
Okay, commercial. Commercial na po yung kasunod. So, balik na tayo dito. So, yun yung nangyayari from L1 to L2. Paakyat ng paakyat yung... guys, can you hear me? Okay, meron.
Yes.
So, paakyat ng paakyat yung kanyang skill, and then malapit na siya sa target language. Malapit na siya sa L2, and then nagkaroon ng question mark. Naging Philippinism. At dito na po nangyayari yung parang plateau, pinggan, So, interlanguage gradually approaches the target language, although it seldom merges with it totally. Sometimes it reaches a stable plateau. Becomes, okay, same, similar, but not exactly the same. So yung X na po yun, yun yung tinatawag nating interlanguage continuum. So it means the learner travels along the interlanguage continuum towards L2, L1 being the starting point of the development, and the nalilito na ako. Interlanguage gradually improves a set of rules. So palapit na siya ng palapit. So kung kailan na siya ng malapit, nandun na yung plateau, state of no change. So malapit na siya but not quite there. Doon na nagkakaroon ng ang tawag doon, dinosaur fossilization. Okay, there you go, fossilization. So meron po tayong 3 stages na pang PhD na po ito. Wag na po nating pag-usapan. From native language forms to target language forms. It includes 3 stages: basilang, mesolang, and acrolang. So hanggang doon na lang, yan na yon. 3 stages: early form, intermediate, and then final stage. So nandun na yung fossilization. Doon na pumasok yung Philippinism natin, yung for a while, yung marami pa kasing example, pero let's not delve on that. So fossilization, like fossil, it became permanently established in the interlanguage of a second language learner in a form that is deviant from the target language norm. So it can become fixed in an ancient form and will never change. So napapansin ko sa sarili ko, every now and then I slip, yung B and V, F and P. Kung minsan I nahuhuli ko yung sarili ko, I can hear myself na ako minsan, medyo na. Anyway, so yung summary, interlanguage has properties that are attributable neither to L1 nor to the target language. So L2 learners create interlanguage, and L2 acquisition is a creative process. Yung creative, I don't know if you guys remember your childhood. Nung bata ako, I put ED. Halimbawa, yung past tense, ano bang ED? I kicked, I jumped. And then ginamit ko siya sa lahat kasi ED eh. So I redid, tapos I teached, taught pala yon. So I was creating my own kasi yun ang naituro sa akin. And then nung gradually grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6 na nabago na siya. Naging yung irregular verbs, I think.
Regular, yeah.
And then we should study, medyo naano ako nung dati. So we should study interlanguage in its own right, na kaya nang nabanggit kanina. Study of L2 acquisition is almost equal to the study of interlanguage. So meron tayong mga extrang slides dito. Okay, so interlanguage theory.
Ay, sir, hindi po naka-share
yes.
yung slides niyo.
Ay, seryoso?
Yeah.
Anak ng kamote. Sabi ko na eh. Sabi ko na may kulang eh. Okay. Ayun, balik na lang ng konti. Nasaan na ba tayo? Nasaan yung plato? Ayan, yan yung X. Okay, yung nabanggit ko kanina. And then merong plato. Yan. So para siya hagdanan, packet ng packet. Pero hindi mabot dun sa pink. Pero dito na tayo nagkaroon ng mga development, basilang, mesolang, and acrolang. So earliest, intermediate, at saka final. And then yung fossilization, ito yung naaalala natin hanggang ngayon. Medyo mahirap mapalitan. Ayan na yung dinosaur. And then yung summary, nandito na tayo. So the study of L2 acquisition is almost equal to the study of interlanguage. So yung extra slides nandito sa baba. So interlanguage theory revolves around 7 main principles. The learner constructs a system of abstract linguistic rules. So nung kabataan nyo, kung ano yung natutunan nyo, bawa nung grade 1, overgeneralization, i-apply nyo siya sa lahat. So katulad nung sa akin, yung ED, jumped, kicked, ginamit ko siya sa lahat ng verbs. Doon ko lang, nalaman ko lang mga sumunod na taon na irregular verbs pala. Tapos second one is language learners' grammar is permeable. Permeable. Ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng permeable?
Sir, I'd like to add on that. Yung permeable.
Yes.
Yung permeable kasi it's sabi sa 201 na book is open to open to amendments. So whenever we see something
Yun.
wrong, let's say for example yung ed, so you will because interlanguage is permeable, so you're open to amendments. There's such thing as irregular verbs pala, so this is how you form
Mm.
irregular verbs. So yun lang yung permeable.
Ayun. I remember the word permeable kasi nung nag-aaral ako sa Mapua, nagamit yan to describe metals. Permeable na pwede mong bago-baguhin yung itsura. So I remember permeable. Anyway, fifth principle, interlanguage development mali pa spelling, reflects the operation of cognitive learning stages. So sa pag may kausap ka na nag-aaral language, mahalata mo kung paano na siya, how far along yung kanyang learning. Sixth principle, interlanguage can also reflect the operation of communication strategies. Okay, so yung communication strategies, nung ako'y bata, whatever I see on the book, I use it. Hey, what's your name? My name is blah, blah, blah. Nung nanood ako ng Friends, hey, how you doing? I'm John. So, malayo siya sa libro. Ang layo. Hey, can I get a burger? Samantalang sa libro, talagang parang grade 1. Malayo. Last one is interlanguage may fossilize. So, yung Philippinism, kahit siguro dyan sa Vietnam or sa Indonesia, meron dyan na hindi ko alam. Pero nung nagtuturo ako ng Koreano at Hapon, sinasabi nila orangey. So, kahit na marunong na sila mag-English, orangey pa rin. Tapos, yung dito naman sa Thailand, marunong yung nila, ang tawag dito, they are using the pronunciation for their mother tongue sa pronunciation sa English. Similar sa ginagawa natin yung BNF, F and P, B and V.
Yeah.
Pati ako tuloy naliliton na. Okay, and yung naulit na yata. Ano ba nangyari? Nagkabali-baliktad ba?
Nagbaligtad, yeah.
Nagbaliktad. Ano ba yan? So yung third learning competence is transitional. Okay, sir. Learning competence is transitional. Parang transformer, nagbabago, nagmumorph, permeable. And number 4 is this principle tells us that the learner is variable in stage of development. Okay. So yun na po yung last sa mga slide. Ayun, nakikita nyo na. Sana hindi ko makakalimutan ulit. Meron ditong isang animation. Maiksi lang siya. So, eto siya. Hindi ko ma-download yung buong video kasi hindi ako member ng kanilang organization. But I will share it to you. We still have like 4 minutes. 4-minute video. So, tell me kung may nakikita kayo. Meron ba? Meron ba, guys?
Yeah.
Ayun. Ayun. There you go.
Imagine you're standing on a ledge. There's a huge gap, but you want to get to the other side. You can't jump across. You can't walk around. You can't fly over. But you can build a bridge plank by plank. At first, you might be able to walk across carefully. But as you add to it, one day it might be strong enough to drive a car across. Now, imagine your ledge is your native language, and you're trying to conquer a second language, the other ledge. In this scenario, your bridge will be called interlanguage. Interlanguage, or IL, is a linguistic system used by second language learners. Learners create this language when they attempt to communicate in the target language. Interlanguage is affected by the learner's native language as they use their native language knowledge to understand and organize the second language or to compensate for existing competency gaps. Nonetheless, interlanguage is entirely different from both the learner's first language, L1, and the targeted second language, L2. Interlanguage has its own rule system, but it contains ungrammatical sentences and elements. Given that IL consists of elements of L1 and L2, as well as the speaker's perceptions, it is always unique from speaker to speaker. Learners create rules and they are changed through input, such as teachers, peers, etc., and by the learner. Interlanguage is dynamic and permeable. It serves as a bridge between L1 and L2 when learners lack knowledge and fine mastery of rules. But over time, learners progress. They refine certain rules and obtain new ones. Their competence changes and their interlanguage starts to reflect those changes. First, they may say, I know swimming, which later becomes I don't swimming, until it reaches perfection, I don't swim. The process of constant extension and revision of rules reflects IL's tendency to change. IL's rules are not fixed, they are altered, deleted, or added. Interlanguage is systematic. Although different learners have different interlanguage, they all have their own rules within their variations. They may not align with the actual rules, but they are systematic, like I received money, I buyed a new car, and I sold it. Rules are set in predictable ways. Interlanguage is variable. Learners' performance is variable. They may apply the same rule differently in separate contexts or domains. Accuracy and fluency vary across occasions, as learners have alternative rules for the same function. In a classroom setting where the learner is focused on producing grammatically correct sentences, they may say, I don't drink coffee. In a spontaneous conversation, the same meaning can be expressed as, I no drink coffee. What affects the formation of interlanguage has been a topic of controversy and debate for decades. Currently, there are 5 agreed upon factors that are believed to shape how learners create interlanguage: overgeneralization, learning strategies, language transfer, transfer of training, and communication strategies. Overgeneralization involves learners extending the application of a rule in L2. They group similar items together and try to predict their behavior based on a rule they already know. Using the same rule in new situations leads to errors. For example, the plural for deer becomes deers. The past tense of go becomes goed. Learning strategies consist of learners adopting different learning approaches. Some incorrect learning strategies may result in stagnation in the
Mhm. Ayun, medyo naputol na. Because I'm not a member. Sorry about that. Okay. So, last sharing point. Hindi ko alam kung nandito pa siya. Ayun, nasa Facebook. Ayan. So, pasensya na kung medyo maliit. Okay natin. So, itong mga naunang paragraphs, it's about my own experiences. So I can define a learner's language called interlanguage as a bridge. Para siyang, it's a metaphor for me. So interlanguage is viewed as a transitional linguistic system. All levels, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, pragmatics, that is different from the target language. Tapos, ang liit. Ano ba yan? Okay. So from my own experiences, I noticed that different people produce different interlanguages of their own. That makes it unique. So medyo mahirap siyang pag-aralan. It can be characterized as never anyone's first language, but borrowing patterns or elements from mother tongue, extending patterns from the target language, expressing meanings using the words and grammar which are already known. Nabanggit na kanina. It has its own rules and systems that is different from native speakers. So, ito yung sinubmit ko nung ako'y gumawa nito 2 years ago na. May katagalan na pala. Guys, can you see it? Okay, nakikita. Interlanguage. Hindi ko alam na meron palang term about my errors because I remember my mistakes, my errors growing up, and my mga learning gaps.
Yeah.
Hindi ko alam na may tawag pala doon, language. So, yun. Guys, what do you think?
Ang naisip ko ngayon is the ano talaga, in relation to what we have just discussed, yung difference between our competence and our performance. Iba talaga yung, I don't know how this is connected with what we have just discussed, pero as learners of a second language, yun, the mental processes that that we have to go through to express our competence. So when we are talking, especially in our second language, ang hirap i-translate ng competence to performance. So I don't know what processes yung nandun sa interlanguage that contributes to the difficulty. Pero yun yung naiisip ko ngayon, competence and performance.
Competence and performance. Okay. Sino pa? Sino pa gustong magdagdag? Bali, na-share ko na yung aking ginawa nung 2 years ago. And then I realized na yung mga na-research ko ngayon ay mas madami kumpara sa na-research ko before. So, anyway, tapos na yung course.
That's true, oo. Parang iba hindi ko na maalala talaga. Kasi I think it was information overload. Imagine yung mga pinabasa sa atin, sobrang dami. Yung,
As in,
di ba yung references pa lang, hindi mo alam kung saan makukuhanin yung mga books na binigay niya. Oh gosh. But it was a very good introduction to the course kasi parang you were prepared for the worst na eh. Kaya okay din siya. Yun nga lang, wala na akong gano'ng matandaan.
Para siyang... Yes, continue.
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, okay. So, parang metaphors na naman ako. Para siyang parang nagwo-workout, ano? Pagka nagwo-workout ka kasi you need stretching and warm up para dun sa buhatan na mabigat. Ayun. So, ayun, maraming nung nalaman ko yung interlanguage, it has a word, it has several stages. Dun ko na-realize na meron palang tinatawag na plateau, yung hindi na nag-i-improve yung English mo. Nung nagtuturo ako ng Korean, you cannot speak in English ng dire-diretso normally kasi they look at you with bewildered faces para, gaganon sila, hindi ka maintindihan. Or even though simple lang yung sinasabi mo. That's when you move on to other students na mas advanced. And then nare-realize mo naman yung yung kakulangan mo. Ayun. So ngayon, guys, sa tingin nyo, are you still learning? Because meron akong nakitang TV show. It's kakatapos lang. I forgot. The Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory. Panood ko yun. Para akong, wow. Why is it funny? Is it funny because yung mga sinasabi? Or it's funny kasi hindi naiintindihan yung sinasabi nila? So ako, when I watched it the first time, it's funny because of the same two things. Yung natatawa ako kasi hindi ko naintindihan. At yung pag naintindihan ko naman, natatawa ako kasi yun nga, may double meaning ba?
You get the humor.
Yeah, yung parang double entendre or something.
Yeah.
Ayun. So you guys, right now we are planning to move on from DLLE to MLLE. So how do you guys prepare? How do you study? Kasi yung kung paano tayo nag-aral nung bata-bata pa tayo, besides Sir Kevin na bata pa talaga kasi 25 pa lang. I feel old now, my God. So
Sir, I feel old na rin.
wow!
Naku.
Kaya naman kami sa'yo, sir.
Kung old ka, paano pa ako?
Huwag ka na mag-insist, Sir Kevin, please.
Okay, by age, pero yung nafe-feel ko ngayon parang parehas na tayo lahat.
Okay. Sige, unahin
Huwag
natin
ka
si Sir Kevin. Right now, how do you review, how do you expand your knowledge in English? Paano ka nagre-review ng mga natin? Kasi napapansin ko marami kang naaalala.
Sir,
Buti pa si
Sir
Sir Kevin.
Sir John, you can also stop sharing maybe na para makita
okay.
natin yung mga mukha natin.
Okay.
Ayan.
Kaya yun. Pasensya
So,
lang kayo sa sa video ko. I look like a baby now. So filter lang yan, filter lang.
yan ang tinatawag natin na strategic competence. To compensate, di ba? Sir, I just it's a good thing kasi na we have a summer break in the school that I am teaching. So, even though we have the in-service training, the in-service training is in a modular type, so I can devote a few hours, like 2 hours
Wow.
maximum, to really read. But yun lang. But before I started studying the our courses, especially the 202 and 207. I really wake up early in the morning. Yeah. And then 2 hours from 2 to 4 in the morning
Wow.
to study. Pero kasi ma'am, I was used to
4?
that.
What the
Yeah,
hell?
2 to 4 in the morning. And then matutulog na naman until 7. Kasi work from home lang. Work from home lang ako. So, nakaya ko naman. So, and then yung nag-summer break na. So, I resumed with my normal sleep routine. But then, I study for 2 hours pa rin every day. Pero, pero what you call this, nadidistract
Study
sa
for 2
TikTok eh.
hours.
So,
Wow, may
hindi talaga 2 hours.
Alam ko yung TikTok na pinapanood mo, ha? Mhm.
Well, but wholesome TikTok. So yun lang po. And then I try the best as I can to like outline lang everything. Kasi before I'm used to taking down notes like on the dot, like kung
Outline.
anong what they call this uh uh what they call this lessons na I find it new, so I really write it down. But then right now outline na lang ginagamit ko. So yun po, sir.
Yun. So, outline, tapos everyday. I like that, everyday nag-aaral. Kasi, I use the same concept pag nag-gym. Pag araw-araw ako nag-gym, kahit 30 minutes lang, mas lalaki tawan mo. So, tapos outline. Dapat nakalista kung ano yung pinag-aaralan. Okay. I like that. Yes po. Sino po gustong kasunod?
Next.
By age daw. So, I remember, by age. Sino yung kasunod ng 25? Umamin
Malayo.
ha, umamin.
Hindi ko alam. Ako yung
Sige,
ano.
26. Sige, 26. 27.
Going up.
28.
Naku, matagal ka magbibilang, Kevin.
29. 30.
How many minutes do we have?
31. 32.
32.
Okay, 32. Sige, bye,
32.
sige, ma'am, go ahead.
All right. So right now, to be honest, ito lang yung only source ko of review. Because I'm actually planning to take the exam in November. So when I found out about this group, sobrang nakahinga ako kasi I'm working full-time and I actually use Sundays to study. So now na merong review group, ito na yung way ko of studying in a week and I can finally rest on Sundays.
Yeah.
Yeah, pero if I'm planning na, of course, I think most of you are going to take the exam in June. So, meron akong...
Patapos na nga yung June.
right, or July, I'm not sure.
Ay, hindi ko pa pala nahanap yun. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hanapin ko na nga.
Move along.
Sige, go ahead.
Yeah, so usually when reviewing, ang typical na process ko is, so I read through everything again, and then nagagawa ko ng outline, like Kevin said, and then I make my own exam, and then I answer that
Wow.
exam. So I find it really helpful kasi, yun nga, kaya gusto ko yung may mga nakausap na tayo before and they were able to tell us to concentrate on the principles and the strategies and the application. So I already have an idea of what kind of exam I would make for myself. So ayun, I think that would be a good way of reviewing. And is it okay if I add something sa realization ka sa
Yes,
interlanguage?
please. Yes.
Thank you. So actually, this realization I've had the very first time we studied about it in 201. So I was able to apply it sa students ko kasi a lot of my students are L2 learners in English. So, yung mga parents, ako kasi as a therapist, ang number one ko na priority is language content. So grammar comes later. Because for me, it's more important for them to find any way at all. Pwedeng sign language, could be technology, or could be through just one word utterances as long as they are able to communicate. So maraming mga parents na nag-worry sila kapag hindi natututo ng proper pronunciation or ng proper grammar. So when I learned about interlanguage, it was such a breakthrough for me because I was able to explain to the parents na you don't have to worry. When your kids make these mistakes, it means that they are learning and they are trying to learn. Tapos na-explain ko rin sa kanila na this is his native language, this is what he hears at home and in school. So you can see the patterns that he's actually following for those errors. So you could see that they're not really errors, they're a sign of progress, they're a sign of your child's intelligence. So for me, learning about interlanguage is very empowering for me as a therapist and for the families that I work with. So yun, that's how I was able to apply what I learned about interlanguage.
Wow.
Okay.
Very,
Thank you.
very
Thank you.
practical use.
Yeah, to add on lang ha sa sabi ni Maika kanina. Doon kasi sa first na module ng ng kay Aurelius, sabi niya being daw yun nga yung sabi ni Maika na being a teacher, we really need to be sensitive on how learner can easily adapt or acquire a language. So kung ang necessity, for example, this like 0 to 3 years old, yun yung habit formation pa to eh. 'Di ba? So teachers daw should focus on performance wherein learners are taught the how of the things rather than the teaching the technicalities like your grammar, yung syntax so it because this is taught when the language acquisition is focused on learning the code which is yung magle-learn na tayo ng code, ng syntax, yung ng language, yung one element of the language is yung sa kung mag-aaral na tayo ba sa academic na natin na mga tawag nito academic competence na doon na natin, pero when it's a habit formation, tama nga si Mamaika na na we really need to teach them the performance. So yun yung sa interlanguage na siguro ma-add on ko lang doon sa yun. Ano pa nga yung question mo, sir?
Nakalimutan ko na rin.
Yung habit of studying.
Habit of studying. Because we are trying to extend ourselves, we are trying to review.
Oo. Ako talaga, nung very first na kasi since I was young talaga, hindi talaga ako studious. Wala akong study habit. Yun yung talaga sa akin na wala. Kasi yung parents ko, hindi sila masyadong pushy when it comes to education. Basta lang mag-aral ka, makapasa ka, graduate ka, may trabaho. Ganon lang sila. So, ako naman, kaya hindi ko talaga na-develop. Siguro yung love of reading ko lang talaga yung marami akong na-stored na knowledge doon lang. Pero yung sa nagmali na tayo, ito yung pinaghahandaan ko talaga, kasi sabi ko, teacher ako, so dapat may study habit ako, ganon. So, lahat ng first na module, lahat yun, prinin ko kaya yun. Tapos, I tried.
Mahaba
tried. Oo, marami yun. Nang kapal-kapal nga dito doon sa labas Anong iba, binigay ko yun sa, nag-enroll din, pero anyways, yung ginawa ko, nag-highlight, nag-take down notes doon sa mga sa mga sa pages, ganon, na ginamit ko yung skill ng annotations ng literature, di ba? But then, parang hindi pa rin talaga ako kasi I'm not into memorization I'm into understanding na learner. So, ang ginawa ko is yung yung doon nung na-realize ko it doesn't work for me, ang ginawa ko, na lang, yung kung may mga questions doon ba, di ba sa DF may question, tas yung sa course guide natin may question din. So, ayun, gumagawa ako ng mga scenario to associate me. Kasi more on association learner kasi ako. So, yun yung mga ano ko. Tas wala siyang specific time like Sir Kevin nga na ganon. Wala akong ganon. So, kung ano na lang, kung malapit na lang yung deadline, nagka-cramming, gawa.
Allah.
Kaya yung sa DF namin ni Sir Jan, maano ako kaya kung talagang kung may mag-reply doon sa DF natin, doon lang ako napapastudy talaga kasi si Ria, si Sir Jan, mahilig silang mag-reply doon sa sa mga DF namin. So kami lang din yung nagre-reply sa mga DF. Doon ako nakaka-learn. Ako more on group learner ako. Kaya yung nag-offer talaga na ganito yung pinost ito sa kabila na ganito. Sabi ko talaga, sige, gusto ko to kasi may habit, may yung iba kasi yung since high school kasi nasa honor roll ako kasi nag-grupo ako doon sa group study ng top 1 to top 2 to top 5 namin. So sumasali ako doon sa group study nila. So ako yung teacher, 'di ba? So nasa top na honor roll ako dahil doon sa group. So yun, itong ganito talaga, like Micah, it really helps me a lot. So maybe by this baka maging chancellor's list na tayo.
Yes. Why not?
Pa natin to Micah, sila magte-take na sa July tayo November pa ikaw, 'di ba? Kasi si Mika parang Mika at saka si April, November pa daw na. So, pagpatuloy natin tong natin.
So, kahit na November mag-exam or July, mas maganda yung malayo pa lang mag-start na, mag-prepare na.
Oo. Kaya sabi ni si Mika yata yung nag sa akin kagabi na, Ma'am Eden, ipagpatuloy natin to pag tapos na sila kasi malayo pa tayo Tapos siguro pag start ng klase namin dito August. So I will really make time for this kind of kasi it really helps a lot talaga. Like me, wala talaga sinasabi ko lang lagi. Tapos yung friend ko nga dito, my friend ako dito, sabi niya, tapos ka na ba sa mo? Sabi ko, mamaya na. Tatapusin mo na yun, mag-cramming ka na naman. Magaling ka naman dyan, sabi niya sa akin. Ayun yung ko. Ayun na, ako nang sumunod kasi alam ko ako yung kasunod ni Mike.
Naka-Jack and Poy kami ni John.
Si naman, Teacher Ria. How do you study?
Actually, I don't. Katulad din ni Eden and ni Micah, I find it hard to study, especially now. Kasi yung mga competing distractions around me. Kasi as I have told you, I'm a mother. So I have different concerns then. And when I'm not teaching, I also help run the family business. So hindi ko talaga mapagsabay-sabay. So what I did was to enroll in a short course on social linguistics. So pinahirapan ko palalo yung sarili ko. Pero it's been a great help kasi nafo-force ako na magbasa ulit. So nasisingit ko siya. I don't know kung ba't hindi ko maisingit yung mga dati nating readings. Pero ngayon nakapagbasa ako. Siguro iba yung may pressure kasi may mga essays din kami na kailangan i-turn in at a certain time. So very helpful siya kasi connected sa pinag-aaralan din natin ngayon. How we learn language, the politics of language, yung mga ganyan, yung sino ba talaga yung native speakers. So medyo naaalala ko yung ibang pinag-aralan natin. Tapos I get to apply yung some concepts. Pero ito, as what you have just said, yung ganitong discussion is really a big help. Kasi pag nagbasa ka, parang lahat, it's all in your head. Wala ka man na makausap para
yun yung mahalaga kasi. Yun yung mahalaga.
Para
yung may
ma-process.
Down
Yes, correct. It's all up here. Tapos hindi mo alam ano yung application nun. So what about it? Diba? Pero yung ganitong very practical application, tapos iba-iba tayo ng pinagagalingang field, is very helpful for me kasi yun, okay, so ganun pala siya. So that's how it works. Kasi saka minsan, I don't know if it's because of my age, na minsan I keep on reading the same line, pero bakit hindi ko na naiintindihan? So, maybe it has to do with age.
I experienced that as well. So, hindi yan sa age.
Pero hindi ko kayang ginagawa mo, Kevin, na magigising ng 2 Tapos
Bata
matulog
pa
ng
eh.
4. Bata pa eh, oo. Ngayon, when you get to my age, medyo I prioritize sleep above everything else.
Yes.
It's so
Yes.
precious
My
to
God,
me.
yes.
Oo.
Dati
Ah,
ayoko eh.
Malapit ako dyan.
Oo.
Yung tutuloy ko
Huwag
yung
mo muna
study
i-enjoy,
for
huwag
sleep.
mong bilisan, huwag ka magmadali. Diyan ka muna.
Yeah, enjoy mo lang. Marami, dadating ka dito. So ngayon, pag nasa ganitong age ka, you're a creature of comfort. Yung talagang hinahanap mo na lang yung madali.
Super. Peace of
Oo,
mind.
hindi ka na ma-stress. So andun ako sa point na yon. Pero nag-enroll ako sa isang course na I don't know why, pero I'm enjoying it. I'm seeing the connection. So at the same time na nare-review ko rin yung sarili ko. And this forum really helps kasi walang judgment, lahat free. Kasi pag nagsulat ka dun sa mga modules natin dati, parang wow, there's so much pressure na naintindihin mo yung mga binasa mo kahit na parang ngayon mo pa na-encounter tapos kailangan sumulat ka na kaagad ng something. So yun, I wish we had this when we were still studying kasi parang mas mako-concretize niya yung mga hinain sa atin na theories kasi parang dumaan lang siya lahat pero parang what do I really remember about everything, di ba? Pero ngayon kausap ko kayo, okay, so this is what it was all about.
Especially 201, Miss Ria, kasi wala talaga tayong interaction with the prof, 'di ba?
Oo.
Unlike 202 tsaka 20, yung si TG na ba, yung si TG na nag-group nag-group niya tayo. 202 reading reading
okay.
subject. Tapos yung 205 tsaka 20 yung basta yung about sa reading kahit dalawang subject ni TG kasi more on tayo dun eh, marami tayong ganap sa natin sa forum natin kasi 'di ba very active yung classmates natin. So marami akong nale-learn doon kasi sa forum lang kasi talaga ako nakakapagbasa. Tsaka ang haba-haba, imagine 80 plus 84 tayo tapos lahat yun nag-interact with each other. So tapos si TG pa inire-replyan pa tayo lahat-lahat. So talagang yung interaction lang talaga yung it's like in the classroom ba na kaya nga diba effective talaga yung in-class na klase kasi nakakapag tayo interact. So yun talagang ako dun mas marami akong alam sa sa reading kasi nga marami tayong interaction doon, not only doon sa forum, pati yung sa grouping natin, yung gumawa tayo ng thematic lesson plan.
Yeah.
Yun yung talaga na medyo naalala ko ng marami kaysa sa itong mga language theories na to. Wala akong masyadong alam dyan.
Oo.
Baba kaya ng 201 ko.
At least pumasa tayo.
Muntik na ako mag-drop sa 201. Ang tagal ko kayang pinasa yung ko.
Sige.
Akin yun, sorry. Wait. Sige po. Sorry.
Ayun.
Yun,
Bali,
yun.
yeah.
Yun, sir. Si Sir Jan na.
Ay, okay, ako na pala. Bali, I like your ideas, guys, kasi na parang, nga, no, pwede ko rin siyang i-apply. Pero yun nga, yung sa inyo, nagbabasa tapos gigising ng madaling araw. It's to each his own. Whatever floats your boat. Yes. Whatever floats your boat. Pero yung sa akin kasi, yung Microsoft, meron siyang yung read aloud ba yun? Text to speech. Ginagamit ko yun, text to speech. So, yung gagawa ko ng outline, kukunin ko yung module, i-convert ko siya sa Microsoft Word para ma-edit ko siya. Pag na-edit ko siya, paigsi ng paigsi, hanggang sa less than 500 words na lang siya. Pero nandun yung context. And then, saka ko siya select all and then text to speech. Habang nakikinig ako nun, nagtitiklop ako ng laundry, namamalansya ako, ganon. Wala akong iniisip kung ano lang yung naririnig ko. Oo. Tapos,
Gawa ko yan, sir. Nag-drive ako ng bike. Pero yung whole module yung pinapakinggan ko.
tapos mahirap maalala siya kung wala kang mnemonic. Walang mnemonic. So, kailangan yung interlanguage, yun nga yung bridge. Pag nakita ko yung bridge, interlanguage. So, ito yung L1, ito yung L2. Yung bridge, yun yung interlanguage. So I remember. So yung application na lang, kaya ako kung papansin nyo, lagi kong I point to myself kasi wala pa akong anak, tapos wala akong estudyante na matagal ko ng estudyante. Yung mga estudyante kasi mga Koreano, matagal na yun. That was 15 years ago. So hindi ko na maalala lahat. Pero yung sa sarili ko experience, doon ko ina-apply. So ganun ako mag-aral. Tapos yung kay Sir Kevin na araw-araw, today, pero yung nagse-search ako sa YouTube, halimbawa, again, yung interlanguage, my favorite, ang daming video about interlanguage online. And it's like 5 or 2 minutes. Kasi pinaigsi na siya, abbreviated, abridged, whatever. Kaya pag pinakinggan mo, learning bit by bit. So, yun. At the end of the weekend, paggagawa na ako nung sagot sa mga mahaba na yung naaalala ko. Mahaba na yung naisusulat ko.
Galing.
So ngayon na ganito tayo,
Sipag.
nag-aaral tayo ngayon. Oo.
Sana all.
Asin.
Actually itong pag-aaral natin nito, this is my break because after this until 12 midnight gagawa na naman ako ng lesson kasi bukas may klase na naman. Sabado Linggo meron kaming klase. So I have to continuously create PowerPoint. Ito yung pahinga ko. Yung
Pahinga na yan ha. Grabe siya. Ako pag pahinga, tulog talaga.
Same here.
So ayun.
Sabi nga ng friends ko,
Sayang
you sleep on random times. Yun.
Yun. So ayun, yung interlanguage, salamat at na-refresh yung ating mga memory. Nagkaroon tayo ng sharing kasi self-reflection yung nabasa ko before and yung nabasa ko today and yung mga sinishare natin sa isa't isa ngayon, parang may light sa aking ulo. Ganyan, ting! Ayun.
Light
So,
bulb
salamat
moment.
sa inyo.
Yeah.
Light bulb. Ay, putik. Ano ba yan? Light bulb moment. Sorry. Mababa lang kasi yung mesa eh. So, ayun. Kailan ba tayo ulit pwede? Sa Monday na, no? Monday na.
Oo. Sino na ang gustong siguro si Sir Kevin, maraming baon.
Mukhang ready na siya.
Si Kevin.
Mukhang ready na.
Oo.
Ay, grabe naman yung ready.
Ikaw kita. Ikaw na ang susunod.
Sige, so next.
Na-pressure si Kevin.
Na-pressure talaga.
Na-pressure.
Ano ba kasi yung next 201 is module 3, theories na. Maraming theories. So paano
no,
ba?
no.
I want
Second
to
language na tayo dun.
3, 4, 5, 6 na theories. How do you want to go about this? 2x2, 3x3?
Yung sa Unit 3, Theories of Second Language Acquisition.
Yes po.
Module 1, Module 5, 6, 7 ba tayo? Or lang yung mo, sir? Yung Schumann.
Tigalawa siguro.
Hala, alam mo, sir, hindi ko talaga siya matanda.
Di ba? Hindi natin ito na-discuss sa 201 kasi
Wait,
maraming...
Iba ba yung theories ng second language sa first language acquisition?
Iba po, iba.
Yeah, magkaiba.
See, wala na.
Module 1 to 4 yung
Okay.
L1, yung language acquisition. Tapos yung second language, module 5, 6, 7.
We can discuss all para, di ba? Tigko konti, I don't know.
Tigalawa is better. Kasi pag diniskusyon 6 in one night, lasing.
Patay.
Lasing tayo. Lasing. Promise, lasing tayo.
Sige, so by 2? So,
By 2. At least kapag
so,
dalawa, may co-compare natin, we can articulate, we can expand, we can exchange ideas. Pag 6, isang bagsak, paspasan tayo.
oo nga.
Wala.
Sige, so Monday?
Monday we will cover module 5 and 6.
Yes po.
Okay.
Wait, sino magte-take ng July? Meron ba?
Kayo
July
lang.
po.
May na-receive ka na ba na confirmation, schedule?
Wala pa po pero nag-message ko sa kanila regarding if my application was received. And then nag-reply
Walang
naman
reply.
din sila na
Ay, nag-reply.
na-receive.
Oh, very good nag-reply.
Pero
Oh,
actually, sabi
pero-
ng mga classmate nila, 5 days daw bago ang exam, yun pa yung na-receive nila yung confirmation email with the
Gosh.
may ano daw yun, may mock test,
Hmm.
kung paano ilalagay yung mga videos, kung ano yung yung parang ganun. So, yun.
5 days before. Wow, grabe ang ano nila, lead time.
Teka,
5 days.
teka. Kung, kasi para do sa mga mag-exam sa ibang bansa, kailangan dalawa yata yung camera. Tapos
Oo, yung
isa sa
yung
harap,
internal
isa yung
tsaka
share
external.
screen.
Oo, share screen, tsaka yung external camera yung sa likod mo para walang cheating na mangyayari.
Banal na, banal na
pwedeng,
baka.
pwedeng phone. Pwedeng magamit yung phone
Siguro.
as your camera sa likod and then yung camera mo sa
okay.
harap, yung laptop mo.
Yung last.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sus.
Meron daw silang ganun eh. Tapos mayroong parang mock test lang, yung mga questions lang na to prepare you. Kung ang flow ng exam ba, type of exams, flow ng exams, ganun. So, ayun, you have to just be ready for that.
Yeah.
Kami ni Mike, pa kami? chill pa kami. Good luck sa inyong...
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Thank you po.
Karao sana. Wait, lahat ba kayo may sablay na?
Wala pa ako, hindi pa ako.
Meron na ako.
Hindi ko pa naasikaso.
Ay, December pa yung graduation natin. No? Kasi si Sir, tapos si Sir Kevin, tapos
December pa naman.
Oo.
Oo nga.
Oo, pero kailangan nyo na magkaroon na kayo ng sablay by I think November or 2 months
Wow,
before.
pictorial
Kasi
mo,
yung pictorial.
Certain na.
Sayang, hindi
Tapos sa sablay
ano,
kasi talaga.
hindi-
Diba? Nakakakilig yung sablay na yun.
Makakasuot din tayo ng sablay.
As in, dream ko lang yun dati. Akala ko
Dream.
talaga hindi ako makakapag-UP.
Ang kulang na lang sa akin, barong. Walang
Wow.
barong dito eh.
Uy, meron ako
Oh.
nakita yung parang, yung ang tawag dito, yung parang pinya
Panuelo?
na ganun,
Panuelo ba yun?
Oo, meron ako nakita dito.
Scarf?
Pero,
Oh, very good. Meron dyan.
oo. Dito lang sa bahay ko, nakita ko.
But you have to be in white, di ba?
White or off-white, something like that.
Mga parang pang-anak sa kasal, gano'n. Right?
Oo. Yung mga, alam mo yung Pinay na Pinay, yung mga Filipiniana, something like that.
Oh, buti ng December. Hindi siya ganun kainit.
Oo.
Oh.
Ay, oo, yun na yung excited na ako mag-order na ako ng sablay next malayo pa naman. Ay, hindi naman malayo dito ba? Kasi nandito ako sa assistant nila dito, yun eh. Pero sabi nung si Jappy, naalala mo si Jappy, Sir Kevin, parang 2 days or 3 days lang daw dumating sa Japan yung kanya eh.
Oh, mabilis lang.
Kasi yung order niya, I think yung order niya is from UPOU talaga. And then yung order from UPOU parang in-express nila Air 21. Kasi mas madali yung Air 21 kesa sa yung normal na LBC.
Baka mas mahal pa yung yung delivery fee than the sablay.
Mas mahal.
Kung,
Yes.
kung mag-order talaga kami yung pang-isahan na ng mga merch ba, like
Oo, correct.
Yun
sablay,
din ang ginawa namin sabay-sabay para
Para
mas
hindi
mura.
sayang.
Pero mahal pa rin talaga yung mismong
shipping
pagpapadala yung
Shipment.
yeah,
Shipping, yeah.
malayo.
yun yung order na
Well, anyway,
yun. Yun sa basta excited na kami sa mo, Sir Kevin, ha?
I will try
chips.
my best. I will try my best talaga.
Ganun naman talaga, wala na tayong magagawa dyan.
ay, last question pala, guys, last
Opo.
question. Kasi yung ginawa ko, it's totally different from ginawa ni Teacher Ria. Yung sa akin kasi halo-halo gawa ng ibang tao. Hindi ako gumawa nun kahit isa. So yung kay Teacher Ria, siya yung gumawa ng slides. Ang ganda ng presentation. So feedback naman diyan. Ano yung masasabi niya?
No?
Is it hindi kasi kailangan ko ng feedback para pag ako nag-present sa student dito, kailangan ma-improve ko din. So ano yung feedback nyo? Positive or negative is welcome.
I like that it's short.
Mm.
Na-cover natin lahat. Siguro, yung sa slides lang, yung bigger font, maybe?
Bigger. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So,
Oh, bigger font.
sorry. I forgot.
Oo. Kasi, tag dito, pag nasa slides, diba sabi nila, na hindi ko rin finalo, dapat may isa ka lang, one important term na naka-flash, and then, you proceed from there. So, I don't know. Sa atin teachers, mahirap yun kasi which word really would you highlight, diba? Pero, yun. So, I like that it's short. It covered the things that we needed to know. Wala yung masyadong mga details na hindi important. Pero, being malabo ang mata, medyo mahirap sa akin yung ibang details. Pero,
Tatlo pala kayo, ang apat ang mata eh.
correct.
Malapit na rin ako. Malapit na. Oh,
Medyo
si Teacher
pero
Micah,
hindi
ano yung
natin
feedback
pa.
po natin?
Yeah, I'm okay with it kasi it's concise and it was easy to understand. Tapos yung sa number of lines, what I learned when I was in college is 4 lines, 4 to 5 lines maximum sa isang slide. So, yun nga, so it's easy to see and then hindi siya overwhelming for the students. Yeah, like, that's it because it was really informative. Walang extra detail that was distracting me from what I'm supposed to learn.
True. Yun yung din, yung pag lagay ng yung term sa English, yung paglagay ng mga videos and other to be
Multimedia.
more, to be more engaging, maganda din yun. So yun lang siguro more on yun nga yung clearer na
Bigger font.
bigger font, tapos yung din, gusto ko rin yung in between may may discussion questions to really take it in ba before we proceed to the other parts. Yun. Good job, sir.
Thank you. Si Sir Kevin, ano po
Pressure na si
yung
Kevin.
Na-pressure ako. Nag-evaluation
ano yung
pala
feedback
dito.
natin? Hindi,
Evaluation.
self-evaluation kasi para ma-improve ba?
Or siguro lang sir, yung lahat siguro ng content mo ilalagay mo siya sa isang slide na lang para hindi ka mag-change ng tab. Ilagay mo siya sa isang
Oo.
slide
nga.
lang.
Yeah, sir. I would kinda suggest, the hyperlinking.
Yes.
Hyperlinking of text. So
Meron siyang ginawa actually, sir, pero nasa isang document din siya. Pero I'd rather put it in one slide na lang ba na to
Yeah.
follow
Bali,
everything na there.
It's supposed to be a video. Di ba nagsapasa ako sa inyo ng video? Ginawa ko siya within 1 hour last Wednesday. And napagtanto. Ano ba sa English yung napagtanto? Naisip ko, I thought, I realized, it's too late to realize. Ano siya? Kulang sa detail. Tapos, pag in-animate ko pa siya, kulang na sa oras. So, I had to choose good presentation or good content. So, I chose good content. That's why, kaya marami kayong nakitang slides at saka 2 video. It's supposed to be 3. I'm supposed to give you like 5 questions para we could get ideas. Pero, binawasan ko na kasi nga.
Maganda yung guide questions talaga.
yeah, I really like the question, sir, kasi it sa on the middle pa lang of the discussion, na-challenge na kami sa with the questions that you gave. Yeah.
Ayun.
Di ba mas marami tayong natututunan na ganito na kahit 1 oras lang to or 1.5 oras, mas marami yung nako-cover.
True.
Anyway, guys, that's it.
Sige,
That's my
salamat.
presentation.
Yes.
Ang recording naman maglalagay sa natin, 'di ba? Sa drive natin. So,
Shared folder.
I-off ko na siya, so hindi ko alam kung gaano kalaki yung yung size.
Yung
I hope it's
okay lang yun, sir, kasi akang sa amin kasi online school namin sa language school 2 hours ang namin. Last time nga naka 2 hour and 30 minutes ako, tapos i-upload mo lang siya sa Google Zoom kasi yun, may converter siya. I don't know dito sa Google Meet, hindi ko pa na-try, pero anyways I think compatible naman yun sa kasi Google so
Titignan ko siya ngayon.
Nasa drive lang yan, sir.
Nasa
Nasa
drive
drive.
lang.
Nasa drive lang.
Buburahin ko na lang pagka na-i-upload na ngayong gabi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. God bless you.
Yes, bye-bye. Good
Bye.
night. Bye. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.